Just wanted to put my thoughts on a video about things that I've been seeing lately in Facebook posts and whatnot about, support our troops, thank a veteran and all that. And that's good, that's fine. I don't disagree with that. But I also want to put it out there that even as a veteran, not all people in the military are saints or are the good-hearted, sacrificial, patriotic people we make out all veterans to be. And I get that. I get that. When you thank a serviceman for his service, or a veteran, or even somebody, even the families, it's a broad, general statement, and it's a good thing. It's meant to thank the good ones, and it's hard to tell who the good ones are and who the bad ones are, so you thank them all. But I remember being in the military, people that aren't very nice, let's put it that way. I knew this guy. I was an E3, and I reported to my first squadron. I had gone through all the schooling and stuff, weapon system school, to be able to do what I needed to do to work on a specific aircraft. And when you're still an E3, though, the way it worked back when I was in the Navy, they stuck you, in aviation anyway, they stuck you in what's called the line shack. And the line shack is basically the service station. The service station of a squadron. You greased the aircraft, you washed the aircraft, you did visual inspections, they call them daily inspections on the aircraft to make sure that parts haven't fallen off or broken or anything like that. It's the first line of defense for aircraft maintenance. I was an airframer, and I was into, I wanted to fix stuff. I wanted to fix patch sheet metal. I wanted to change landing gear, because that's what my school was. I spent 6 months in school learning all that stuff, and then they go and stick me in the line shack and tell me stuff I already know. It was a little degrading for me. Anyway, long story short. Long story long. Anyway, so I'm an E3. I'm fully trained to do what I have to do. And they stick me in the line shack with this guy who I don't know who he is from Adam, because as an E3 in the Navy, when you're wearing your work uniform, you don't get a rank until you make E4. So the stripes that we got as E1, 2, 3, we wore dungarees back then. So you just had a blue shirt, no rank or anything. So I didn't know what rank he was. I just knew he was E4, less than an E4. He was an E3 and below. But I was new, so I was like, just kind of following what the first class, the E6, was telling me to do. And so when we're waiting for the E6 to come in and give us our work orders for the day, this guy was like bossing me around. I'm like, I was like, all right, whatever, I'll go get the grease, I'll go do this or that. And I was trying to keep a low profile. And one day he really torqued me off, and so I just didn't do what he told me to, what he wanted me to do. I was like, go find somebody else to tell you, to do it. And it's like, or why don't you do it? And it turned out to be the dude was an E2. He was lower ranked than me. So after that, I'm like, talk to the hand. And then that's not the end of the story with this guy. He was such a nasty guy and such a dirtbag. It turns out he was stealing stuff from the hobby shop. We had an auto hobby shop on base where you could take your car and work on your car. I think you paid like $5 a day, and they had all the air tools there that you can use. And what he did was he had a car there, and he would take his car there and kind of eyeball or case the joint to see who left there, because you can leave your car there overnight. I mean, like I said, it was like $5 a day rental for a bay. And what would happen was guys would go on deployment and they would leave their cars there, just a short deployment, maybe a week or so. When they go out to sea, they leave the car at the hobby shop if they're working on them. And this dude was like stealing transmissions and engines and stuff. I mean, he wasn't just like, you know, stealing tools or anything like that. He was stealing some big stuff. And that was, you know, that was like when they caught him, all the stuff they found. Some minor stuff he would do. He would like steal cash from people. You know, people would like his roommates. They'd be like missing money and stuff. And so, oh man, my steering wheel. I don't know. Gotta check that out. But he was stealing cash and stuff, and one of his roommates lost his wallet. And they later found his wallet in his locker. This is how stupid the guy was. I think his roommates finally had the final straw when one of the guys the guy who lost his wallet found his wallet in the dude's locker, and so they called the what do they call those guys? Master at Arms, basically base police, and said, hey, you know, this dude stole my wallet. And so they went through his stuff, searched through his stuff, and they found a bunch of flight jackets. And flight jackets are like this, you know, they're leather jackets that the air crew and pilots wore. And they found like 4 or 5 of them in his locker. And so they were kind of grilling him, you know, trying to let him either come clean or let him dig himself a little deeper. So like, well, where'd you get these flight jackets? And he was like, oh, they were there when I moved here, when I got assigned this barracks room. They were in the locker when I got here. Oh, really? When did you get assigned this room? January something or other. And it's like, okay. So he started going through the pockets of the flight jackets, and there in one of the flight jacket pockets there were a set of orders, some papers with a date on them, and the date was like after after when he claims that he got to the room. So he was pretty much flat busted. So that was one dirtbag. And there were a lot more. Trust me, there were a lot more dirtbags that I had to deal with, and a lot of people had to deal with in the military. So I would say the vast majority of veterans are good people, good, hardworking, honest, patriotic people, but there are a handful out there that just aren't nice people. So just a word of caution, you know, if you run into a veteran that's kind of a jerk, well, they're out there too. But don't hold that against the rest of us. Just my 2 cents. Take care. Bye.